Hi, Tom Larimer here, Larimer Outfitters and Deniki host. Today I'm going to be talking about setting the hook on steelhead and salmon, both with dry lines and sink tips. And a lot of people in my boat have the question of, do you hold a loop or do you not hold a loop when you set the hook? And so for those of you not knowing what holding a loop means, it's what I call the EPL, the ever-present loop. And so when I'm fishing a dry line, I always like to have my clients fish a loop about that big. And the idea is that when the fish grabs, he is going to slip that loop through my hands with no tension. And when I feel the reel come tight and start to turn, at that point I will set the hook. And I think in a floating line situation where everything is really tight to the fly, you know, the fish grabs it, you feel them immediately. If you set the hook right away, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to either pull the fly right out of his mouth, or you're going to scare the hell out of him. And you're not going to have a chance to bring him back. So we let that loop slip, the reel turns, and then one thing I've found is once that thing comes tight with a dry line, a low hook set, sort of a sweep towards your bank, seems to get more fish than more of a vertical hook set. Now when we move into the world of sink tips, it's exactly opposite. I actually like to hold no loop, so I'm just tight to my fly, and I fish a very light drag, so that when the fish grabs, I don't set the hook right away. I just let that fish basically take some line off the reel, and when I feel that reel start to turn, I squeeze down. And with sink tips, I use a little bit more of a vertical hook set, not straight up, but more of kind of 10 or 2.